Hello. Hello. Anyone around here speak basketball?
This is Adam Silver.
Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks
Basketball Podcast.
I am your host, Freddie Rivas. And who, sir, are you on the other side?
I'm your producer. My name is Matt Duncan. I was born in Etobicoke. What else do you want to know? Good to see you, friend.
That's all. That's the main thing I wanted to know, where you were born. Glad to hear it. I was born in Toronto, St. Mike's
Nice.
Hospital.
Okay.
We are a hardcore Raptors podcast. We are on Raptors Republic. We have comedians, analysts, anyone that is a basketball nut. So if you are returning or you are here for the first time, thank you very much. Maddie, I feel like you got to let folks know a couple things. So I'm going to throw it over to you.
Okay, so many of you have heard that there's some big news that the Raptors Republic dropped yesterday. So I figured we'd just kind of do a little plug for it as we are, starting into this new era with the company. And so Raptors Republic is moving their editorial stuff behind a paywall. And yes, all the podcasts on the Rapcast will remain free for your consumption, but that doesn't mean that this paywall doesn't affect us too. So we, the podcast, are a part of Raptors Republic, right? And Raptors Republic needs this paywall to stay alive. So if they're able to stay alive, then we can keep putting out all our hard work and making free content for you. So, if you can support, go to raptorsrepublic.com. Works out to $6 a month. And you can also go to Raptors Republic /subscribe if you just want to go right to the subscription. And support independent journalism and support Raptors Republic, and just we appreciate all the love and everything that we've gotten so far. So we just wanted to throw that little plug out there.
Hell yeah. Well said, Maddie.
Yeah.
Also let us know in the comments, something I've been thinking about doing, as far as like the big editorial stuff, maybe I'll do some interviews this year. If there's articles you can't see, and you want to, have folks discuss about it, or if, you are a subscriber and you've read it and you kind of, want more, you want to hash it out a little bit more, or, kind of a, extended access type thing. So just a thought I had. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in. But I think let's get rolling on this podcast. And I will just add as well, before joining Raptors Republic, I've been a massive fan for a long time. And this is when people complain about Raptors coverage nationally. This is what Raptors Republic is. It's like it's plugging that gap. So help us all do that and grow. Okay. I will also say free Brittany Griner, as I've been saying, and I will continue to say until she is free. Let's go to you first, Alexey, on this one. The Raptors have played their first preseason game in Edmonton. It was a sellout. Marcus Camby's there. It was a great time. Alvin Williams kind of slandering Kyle Lowry and his acting abilities, which was really fun. They're good friends, so it's all good. But on court stuff, it's a preseason game, all those caveats, etc. With that said, what is your biggest takeaway from the game, from the Raptors?
In general, the depth was really good. Our culture shown all the way through the whole game, as far as like really playing that Raptors brand of basketball and just getting after it. We saw it with every unit all the way down and pretty solidly all the way through. And then the middle guys really impressed me. I mean, it was all about Precious, Chris Boucher, Delano Banton, and whatchamacallit, Juancho even coming in and looking like he fit real nice in there. And Malachi, of course, it carried over. He had that one shot with his guy in his face. And the middle bench really impressed me. Like really, really good. And then obviously the Edmonton atmosphere was amazing out there. Why is it a preseason game? What are they? They're acting like it's the playoffs, game 7. It's crazy. So awesome.
I'm into it. Yeah. Well, great point on Edmonton. Like they totally brought it. And, maybe they weren't fully Canada's team before the championship, but I feel like they are a fully Canada's team now. They're supported all over the country. And it's just awesome to see. It was a playoff atmosphere and it was fun. I honestly don't even have a backup point because that is my major observation of the game as well. Couple personal observations on players, but I thought the Raptors' identity was there. Deflections, overwhelming with people with size and length in the middle. And I've been saying for a long time now, I really think that this Raptors team is giving me bench mob vibes. I'm not saying they're going to win 59 games and win the Eastern Conference, but I do think that we are going to overwhelm teams in the middle of games. Is our starting lineup overwhelming and special? Maybe not. But I do think that once we have to go to our bench in any capacity, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we are going to overpower teams stylistically, with hustle, with youth, and with energy. And I feel like we're just getting a glimpse of that, and that chemistry is going to get better. Otto is going to get healthy, hopefully at some point. I didn't know that he hurt his hamstring, but I also feel like this team is, knock on wood, but like sort of injury proof in that sense, where we're so deep that people will be able to slot in. There's always going to be a Juancho. There's always going to be a Koloko, a Banton, a Flynn, guys who are trying to integrate themselves into meaningful minutes. I don't want to steal all the points, so let's go to you, Alison. What was your major takeaways?
Yeah, Freddie, you did steal my word, stylistically. I really enjoyed the tempo in that game, but
Yeah.
I've been guilty in the past of assigning way too much meaning to preseason games,
Mhm.
and specifically watching Svi Mykhailiuk shoot lights out and thinking he was the next coming of Steph Curry. So I've got to like check myself a little bit.
Fair.
And if Fred's post game comments, and he said it's a practice. And I mean, you have to think it's a practice for the roster players, but this is like a job interview for the guys on the margin. And
Right.
I've got to say, they look pretty polished compared to some end of the roster guys we've had in the past. My primary takeaway is more on the micro level. Precious is the guy that we saw in the second half of the year last year.
Yes.
In the first half, he was so tentative. He couldn't finish. And I've got to say, he made Bismack Biyombo's handles look like Kyrie Irving. He was that bad. So I was really stoked about him when Masai made the trade. And I certainly took a lot of teasing in the first half of the season about how optimistic I was. But we really saw a different player after the end of January and post All-Star break. So in thinking about him, like even going back to the playoffs against Philly, the guy is fearless. He's got a really good first step, and teams are really going to have to start respecting him from distance. And I know you asked me to pick just one, but my other one was Delano Banton.
Well, that's fine. Yeah.
He's a difference maker.
Yeah.
He can be.
No, that's fine. If you had more to say on Banton, that's fine too.
Yeah, that's good.
But I'll just add for Banton, the amount of guys, he sort of, to me, highlights the amount of guys on this team that can grab a rebound and take it the entire way and, dribble with their head up. And, you see a guy, for instance, like Juancho, right? He grabbed the ball and, he'd run it up, but like really he's a bit jittery and kind of like looking for the opportunity to hand the ball off. I'd say similar Kem Birch. But a guy like Banton is so comfortable that he's kind of like, if you don't pick me up, I will drive all the way to the hole. I can dunk it. I can do, Alvin Williams after the game was calling him Iceman, George Gervin, which is it was a joke. But I think he looks very like confident and casual. And I'm glad you brought up Precious, because I think he was, the unanimous star of the game. I think he is who we, saw later on in the season. And I'll join you in taking a lot of heat for the Precious thing. I've constantly referred to not trading Kyle, after he said goodbye to the camera, the Denver game, as the most elite non-move I've seen in a very long time in the NBA. Masai and Bobby just do not operate. You can't put a gun to their head. They just won't do it. They just walk away. And I think in that instance, the deals on the table, the Lakers one always seemed dumb to me, but the figurative deals on the table were, dealing with Miami and dealing with Philly. And, if you think about who's making the decisions there, it's Riley, it's Morey, and it's Masai. So no surprise to me at all that a deal did not get done. And Masai wanted Precious, and he got him, and I think, that to me is really big. And Precious has this wild combination of skill, athleticism, and speed. So really, really exciting stuff from Precious. Let's go to you, Alison, on question number 2. And you also brought up the guys on the fringe, this is their audition. And please, anyone correct me if my math is wrong, but I feel like there's really 3 spots open, but only, realistically 2. It seems like, based on what I've heard from Pascal, from Fred, from Nurse, it seems like Juancho's on the team. I'm getting those vibes. And then that to me leaves 2 people. And we got a bunch of guys there. So I'm curious who you think gets the remaining 2 spots. I can list the potential guys, but I think we all kind of know them at this point.
So I went with Nick Nurse's observations about who he thinks are the 4 contenders for those positions: Banton, Champagnie, Jackson, and DJ Wilson. And I kind of wonder if Bo Cruz will make the team, but beyond that, assuming he does, it's got to be Banton, just because I think he has way too much potential upside to let him go. And I mean, other than being somewhat vulnerable to ball pressure, he really has a unique skill set. And I know we all want to see Fred off ball this year just for the preservation of his health, but he's going to be in that role of lead point guard at times. And Delano subbing in for him would be such a tough cover for other teams, because it's just an entirely different look. You've got to recoordinate, reconfigure your defense for Delano's skill set. There's just so much upside. And again, maybe I'm biased by watching him. I think he dropped 25 in a G League game last year in the 4th quarter. And he was just dropping threes, and he had his full bag on display. So I've got to say it's Banton.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. And again, here's where I'm a little bit, I'm not as detailed as a lot of, Raptors reporters, but I just want to see, we're all hardcore fans here, if I got my math right. So there's 15 people on the roster.
Yeah.
Let's say it's the starting lineup from last year. It's, Pascal, Fred, OG, Gary, Scotty. So that's 5 people. Not saying that this is the bench order, but then we got another 5 in Precious, Otto, Thad, Boucher, Kemp. That makes 10. We know Flynn and Koloko are on the team. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that mean then there's 3 spots? Because I feel like we got one. Let's say Juancho is the 13th guy. Yeah. I kind of feel like Champagnie and Banton can both make the team. Is that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I keep hearing it framed as sort of like it's like out of Banton, Wilson, Jackson, and or Gabe
no,
Brown.
You're right, Freddie. There is another.
It keeps being framed as like like Champagnie and Banton both can't make the team. So
no, they can. But it's like, to me, I figured it out. It's really a battle between Josh Jackson, DJ Wilson, and Justin Champagnie. Delano's on the team. He's got to be. He's had such a successful summer. And,
yeah,
he played really well in the first preseason game also. And Juancho's on the team because he's in OVO Drake commercials right now. You think that there's a little bit of like, he's Drake's poster boy right now. So
he also has the most guaranteed money of all those guys.
Yeah. And the way they brought him in, look at it that way. Like I really looked at that. It was like Malachi and Koloko together. Okay, that tells us about Koloko, what he may be getting used like this year. And then Juancho came in pretty early, like kind of in with that middle bench I was talking about earlier. So as far as I'm concerned, like it's going to be Delano for sure. And then it's one between those three. And I personally want DJ Wilson. And it's really because of his height and his 6'9" and his shooting ability on the outside. He has just more of what we really want to stack and overwhelm people with right now. So that's my take on it. And of course, Doughton and Harper look great, but I've also heard you can cut them and switch somebody over to a two-way if you want to. So
right.
I don't know what's going to go on. I mean, as far as cutting guys, a lot of those other guys, the young ones, can actually go play on 905 still. Like if we cut Justin, he can still go play on 905, I'm pretty sure. And same thing with Gabe Brown, obviously. And even Josh Jackson has eligibility to play on 905 this year. That's what I'm hearing. So, but DJ doesn't. So.
Yeah, that's fair. That's it's a good point. I feel like as far as the two ways and the younger guys, there's still a lot of like, I guess, machinations possible as far as cutting them, putting them on the 905 sort of thing. As of right now, our two ways, which is kind of like the 16th and the 17th contract guys, are Harper and Doughton. Is it Doughton Jr.?
Yeah, Jeff Doughton Jr.
Doughton Jr. So, but I do think we all agree that Banton, right?
Oh yeah,
should be there.
He's $45. It's Toronto, baby. How can we do that to our own? Come on, man.
Fair. No, yeah, totally. I would almost want to disagree with you, Alexey, just to see what it brings out of you, but I totally agree with you. So I can't force it. But I do think, let me ask you, Alexey, like I think I'm sort of on the Champagne over Wilson, but I don't know. I do feel like Wilson is really good too. And I felt sorry for him when he filled in for the Raptors last year and got injured. He can shoot. Champagne was also, shooting lights out in 905. Again, we've seen a lot of guys, Malcolm Miller, different people shoot well at the 905, and there is a big difference between the 905 and.
Well, the other thing I like about Wilson is that he's a vet. He's been around for a long time. We're kind of, if we want to build towards a championship quick, like get one this year, which is what I want to do. Having his presence on the team goes along skewing towards like Otto Porter and Thad Young. And that kind of like experience is actually pretty good with DJ Wilson because the different teams he's been on over the 5 years he's been in the league and stuff. I like Champagne a lot. Don't get me wrong. I think he's buddies with Scotty and Delano really tight and stuff. But he hasn't been available. Where the hell has he been all summer? I hate to say that, but Nick Nurse at the Hungary Coaches Summit said, something that's going to factor in all this is, do you play? Are you available? Are you there to play? And I was really shocked that he wasn't there for the first preseason game. He did not play at Summer League. He was barely at Rico Hines. So that's what I'm saying. This is Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? This is what's going on here. So that's what I have to say about it.
Well, he's, we talk about the guys at the fringes. He has gotten injured. He got injured at Summer League, and I think maybe even injured again.
He was injured a lot last season also.
In training camp.
We're going to label people like OG and Cam with stuff. You got to put it on Champagne also.
Yeah, it's an unfortunately brutal part of the league, if you don't have a secure position and you get injured, right? Before we move on here, I think I want to sort of hear. I don't want to put you in an unfair position, Alison, but like, what's your case for Champagne? Because I want to hear the case for Champagne over Wilson.
Well, it's funny. I did a few notes, and after I said Banton, I just said if I don't accept the premise that Cruz makes the team, I say we got to keep Justin Champagne. His injuries have been discouraging, but the guy always gets to the ball. He's a really good rebounder for his size. And like he's undersized for the team considering the rest of the roster, but his hustle and effort are just outstanding, and that can't be taught. That's innate. So I say keep him.
Very fair. I think Champagne, he's also, I mean, maybe this is silly, but it's down to the 15th man. And I do love the like end of the bench reaction people. And at Summer League, he was calling every single person his son, which I thought was really funny. By the way, just a side note, this whole NBA, like, this rule about like, end of the bench standing up stuff is like, I don't know. It's very reminiscent of like dress code bullshit. I'm not crazy about it. I don't like the insinuations, and I watch the NBA to be entertained. I love end of the bench celebrations. I love guys like Kent Bazemore. People who go wild, supporting their teammates. I get sometimes they're like, probably on the court and they shouldn't be, whatever. But I just feel like I had to say that. I am, gonna wrap this pod up. So I want to thank everyone for listening. And I'm gonna go to you for plugs. Alexey, I'll give you a sec to think of other things you want to plug, because I feel like you just did one. But Alison, let me go to you first. What's up? What do you want to tell people, about basketball or otherwise? Or
I just want to jump on something Alexey said when he said, believe in Scotty. It's like, believe in Scotty, believe in the city, believe in yourselves. Reminded me of Masai.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
so excited about this year. It's just got that feel of possibility about it. I think the Raptors are going to finish fourth in our Eastern Conference. So I'm really, really excited. I just hope we can stay healthy. I don't have a lot to plug. We're going to start recording the Raptor Queens. We're on Twitter. And just to remind everyone, there is still a climate emergency. So make your purchases and plan your life accordingly.
Well said. And totally agree. We are in a climate emergency. So, no one should take that lightly. And that's an accurate description of what's going on in the world. Alexey, what's up? Give me your plug. Maybe just remind people again,
9:30 every single morning. I will grind it all the way through this whole off season. Every single morning I was doing stuff. I did a Marcus Camby trivia this morning that was off the chain. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, if you guys want to come and check out my channel, it's on YouTube, Raptors Freak. And we have a live stream where you can come and comment and talk to me directly and say whatever you want. And like, I will go off what you say and stuff like that and stuff. But one thing I want to say is next month, y'all, vote. There's a voting coming up this month coming up. So make sure you vote. Like, too many people are not voting these days. And this is very, very important, even if it's municipal, whatever, federal and stuff like that. But Raptor Free Channel, a positive place for positive Raptor fans that aren't jaded and don't feel like all this toxic stuff about being negative about the team and stuff. We believe, like Masai says, like Alison saying, and we believe they can go all the way. It is very cultish. Like, in some ways, we are a little bit of Raptors Illuminati, and we're kind of like the Knights Templar guarding the Holy Grail, because we want one thing, and that's for the Raptors to win Larry O'Brien's. So, Raptors Freak, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Alexey.
You're
Maddie,
welcome, Freddie. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you and Matt Duncan so much, you guys.
Oh, man. Appreciate you, and appreciate you, guys. Alison, and everyone that's been listening and supporting. Let me just throw to Maddie if there's anything else you want to let people know about the podcast.
Just the same old thing. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate all that stuff. I know I get a lot of great feedback on the intros. I'll keep making them longer for you guys. We know you love it. And go to raptorsrepublic.com. As I said at the beginning of the episode, there is a paywall coming up for the editorials. Go to raptorsrepublic.com/subscribe and get on that $6 plan so that you can continue to get all that great content. And yes, we will still be here, free content podcast ready to go. Very excited. We're going to start our season 10 next week of Confederacy of Dunks. Very excited about that. And, we do also have our own website, dunkspodcast.com. You can listen and watch the YouTube stuff there. And yeah, if you're on YouTube and you want to hear the whole episode, go to the Rapcast on your favorite podcatcher and subscribe.
Beautiful. I will also just say, make sure to check out me and fellow Raptors Republic podcaster, Catherine Nyker's podcast, The Pickup Pod on the Sonar Network. We cover the WNBA. We have taken a couple weeks off because the WNBA season is over, but we're going to be starting back up with off-season stuff next week. The Pickup Pod on all socials. And again, thank you so much for listening. Maddie, if you feel like we're done and we're good to go, please just give me those words I love so much. Okay.
Listen to full episodes of the Confederacy of Dunks only on the Rapcast.